was going to start with my father's celebration, and I was truly grateful that he was alive in person to hear what we put on for him and all the people who showed. Now 5 months later, and by the way, on National Prayer Day, we should all know today is the National Day of Prayer, we're celebrating his life. It seems fitting, doesn't it? So in preparing for this eulogy, Susan wanted me to make sure I'd say something that you didn't know about him. But you all made my job really, really easy. All you had to do is read the texts on my phone, listen to the phone messages you all left, read the posts on my Facebook page. You'd see that people really did know him. Well, after 90 years, I guess you can really build that reputation, huh? When I heard those kind words that you all said about my father, I couldn't help but think to myself, would people talk about me like that with such love and admiration when I'm gone too? So I'm going to be a little bit introspective here and share to an homage to my mom, some possible chapters from a book entitled, How to Be Loved Like Bob Korb. The foreword would read this: my mom was the smartest, book smart, most practical, in-your-face person I knew. Dad, on the other hand, was the smartest street smart people person I knew. Wow, Gary, we were blessed. So chapter 1 would be Emily Rubin. As we all know, she schooled my dad, she schooled my brother, she schooled me, and she schooled many others, I'm sure. After you graduate from that school, you'll be well prepared to hang with some very, very classy people like Ethel. Ethel, we love you. Chapter 2 would be something my brother talked about, which is build a name for yourself. Growing up as a Korb with as my last name had its real benefits, let me tell you. It got me out of traffic tickets, thank you, Uncle Ronnie, and some great deals from almost any tradesman, any appliance store, and any car dealer in the Tri-State area. Okay? I can't tell you how many times I heard, "Are you A.B. Korb's son?" From Abe Korb Auto Parts. And my favorite was always, "Is Bobby or Louis or Helene related to you?" So the legacy was always there. So I'd like to tell you that the trick to building this kind of reputation came from building trust. I trusted my father emphatically. You achieve this by heeding the words that I think all Korbs live by. And he used to say this to me all the time. Your word is your handshake. Chapter 3, appreciate a wide variety of things. I think you heard a bunch of those already. My dad loved Perth Amboy, he loved Big Shaven, he loved the Judaism, he loved Chabad, he loved you, rabbis. He loved the USA, right? He loved Israel, he loved cars, he loved clothes, he loved music, he loved Broadway, he loved horse racing, travel, movie, gadgets, sports, and watching Arnold Palmer and Johnny Carson on TV, as my brother well laid out. But most of all, he loved food and restaurants. Yes. Amy's and Nabu Grill were his hangouts. Chapter 4, learn to work a room. Boy, did he work a room. Yeah. No matter where it is, a restaurant, a party, an event, or even a hotel lobby, no matter where you were, Dad knew how to light up a room and make you feel comfortable. That was a real trait. Here's some of his tips on making you feel comfortable. His favorite one was to introduce you to every stranger in the room, as if they didn't already know you. It usually started with this one. It's okay. Put your silence your cell phone.
Yeah.
The movie will start in 5 minutes. Okay. It usually started with this one because I have to say it because you all know it, right? You know my son. right? Or it was, you know my brother, or you know my sister-in-law, right? He has just assumed that you all knew these people, right? Another favorite was be ready to break into a conversation, interrupt, and add some anecdotal story, even had nothing to do with the conversation that was going on, right? And his fail-safe trick was also proclaiming that the weather report was nonsense. They don't know what they're talking about. Note to self in this chapter, learn how to predict the weather. Here's some helpful hints as well. Whatever you're doing, my father and my mother were big party goers, right? Parties, events, entertaining. Be the hostess of the mostess, even if it's not your party. My dad was a showman, trust me. Chapter 5. Family is everything. Family are friends. Friends are family. I think that's the whole chapter. Chapter 6. Be truly interested in how others are doing. I know, well, you're going to know this one. Start every conversation with, is everything okay? The fact is, he really wanted to know. That's why everybody loved him so much. Because he was interested in you. Even if you couldn't hear. Chapter 7. Make friends everywhere. Whenever I was traveling, we'd always speak before I left and when I landed. And he always used to say to me, Eric, make sure you have a ship in every port. These were these great sayings he used to come up with. In other words, have a local friend to bail you out if you're in a jam. So I always had friends wherever I went. I always made time for friends wherever I went. Always make time for your friends. Some tips from this chapter is keep a smile on your face. It makes other people smile too, and which is easier to make friends. A very important aspect, and this is in large, bold print, have Hershey Kisses in your pocket. They're the tools of the trade. Chapter 8, give out your phone number. Just in case anybody needs anything to get a hold of you at any time. Take great pleasure in doing things for others. Be the guy in I've Got a Guy. Dad was that guy. I have to tell you a story about that. This is just profound the way I shared this with a few of my friends already. Lewis calls me. He didn't show for breakfast. I can't get him on the phone. He said, can you try? Call Ethel. Have you heard? No. Obviously, we know what happened, right? He wasn't there. We're now about 11 o'clock. I get a phone call on his phone. Who's this? She goes, it's the waitress from Amy's. Where's your dad? He even gave his number out to the waitress, okay, if you ever need anything. All right? I mean, this phone was ringing all day. Where is he? He's so dependable. Chapter 9, learn to drive a car. Driving a car is your freedom to go about wherever you want, whenever you wish, meet new people, see new things, and come back and tell your friends how to get there, right? The next time you may go. But most important point in this chapter will be, insist that you drive so you can get there on the way you want to get there, and leave when you want to leave, right? All right, chapter 10. Be perfect to a fault. Dad was far from perfect. Here are some examples. He could be so stubborn. He never complained when he was sick. In fact, he rarely complained about anything except when discussing politics with his brother. And this is the one that probably Ricky, and I'm going to call some names out here that know about my dad. And it's interesting, when I see some of my close friends, it's hard for me to keep, because their dads are like my dads, and we're together. Many of the people in this room whose fathers were like my father. Beware of the worrier trait, okay? That was his worst, okay? You know, he used to drive around looking for me when Ricky and I were out gallivanting through Metuchen, and he'd actually call the police on occasion, looking for us when we were basically over at Danny's house, hanging out, okay? We also mentioned, as the rabbi did, you know, how stubborn as a hero, right? My mother's illness, he was so stubborn, he would never put her in a place where he couldn't take care of her, and others too. Chapter 11, rules to live by. Meet everybody with a smile, a hug and a kiss. Well, we'll hold off on that hug and a kiss. But let me tell you something. I know we're supposed to sit and lean and sit in chairs and have pain. I can't tell you how this pain of not being able to hug you, the way he taught me to hug him, is so painful. I love you all here, and I wish I could hug you. Another thing he used to say is, never let your enemy know you're mad at them. He said, how else do you get even, right? Always try to do the right thing by others. Believing in a higher power was very important to him. His Jewish God was very important to him. Give to charity. Know when to sit back and not be in judgment. This is how he earned trust. He used to say, Eric, call me. I will never be in judgment. I can't fix it if you don't tell me the truth. Learn to tell a story. He was a great tell a story. Dress for success. Don't sit back and just watch. Take action. That was his code for taking control. Susan loved the way my father used to take control of a room. Okay? Family is everything. And lastly, I think this is probably one of the most important things that you could talk about, is be a parent to your children. Funny how that may sound, but Dad was always Dad. He was never Bob to me or my brother. I think we need more of that these days. Be dependable. That word defined him and will define you. Always show up and be on time, right, Rabbi? There was always the kids' games to go to, the performances, the important milestones, whether it was good or bad, right? Whatever your friends or family are doing, be there to support them. Keith, Craig, Andrew, Dean, Adam, Wyatt, Kyle, your pallbearers, thank you for being here for him. And those who couldn't be here for him, such as David, Daniela, and Gabby, trust me, he understands. Craig and Connor, thank you for participating in this. Whether you're here physically or spiritually, you showed up because undoubtedly he showed up for you at some point in your life. He truly exemplified what it meant to be a great friend, a great uncle, a great brother, a great father. And he truly loved you all. But you knew that already. Being there for others is the most important ingredient for receiving unconditional love, like my dad did. And I can't talk about being there for others without mentioning Susan. Susan, you were so special to him. He loved you so much. But you exemplify being there for others. Thank you for being there for us. You are our rock. Chapter 13. You don't get an off switch, right? You gotta keep on going. You gotta be there, energized and buzzing. You know, he drove to work every day. We talked about this, but let me just tell you, he was the test model for 90 is the new 60. And those scientists up there are still trying to figure out what the heck went wrong. Okay? So now here we are on the back cover of this, and I have to say, be grateful. Given these difficult circumstances that we are currently experiencing throughout the world, and hopefully it's not amongst us here, on behalf of our family, and especially somebody who I haven't mentioned yet, my best friend, my brother, Gary, thank you for being here for us. You were being here. In closing, and this is going to be a tough one, I thought I'd be devastated learning of his death. But he taught me to be strong, yet it's okay to cry. Like my brother, I'm at peace. I have closure. And here's why. Dad, you never yearned to hear the words, I love you. Those words flew from my mouth and others without hesitation or without thought. It's probably why you lived so long. Dad, I hope I embody what you've taught us. To be charitable, try to do the right thing, be ready to take action. I will honor the past. I will be in the present. I will plan for the future. Most of all, I will reach out to make friends, make people feel comfortable, be there for others, listen when they speak. Well, Eric, I got to work on that one. I'm truly grateful for everything that you taught me, by example. Well, Dad, as he used to say, it's post time. You've reached the starting gate next to your favorite horse, Buck Passer. And we're betting on you that you're going to make it to the finish line. That would be bedded, boxed, cross-boxed and both ways through the trifecta, right? As we heard it several times, you had a wonderful life. You were the richest man in town because you choose friends over fortune. Thank you.